back with day 3 of personal narratives. Yesterday we talked about one way that authors can generate or come up with ideas to write about. And so what I want you to do right now is go find someone at home and tell them that way we learned about how do authors come up with ideas for personal narratives. I'll wait. Oh great, you're back. I hope you told them that yesterday we said that you can brainstorm ideas about a special person in your life and think about those memories that you share with that person. And you can use those memories to write your personal narrative, just like the author did yesterday when she remembered picking blackberries with her Grammy and then wrote a story to tell us about it. Today we're going to talk about another way that you can come up with great ideas for personal narratives. We're going to start out by looking at an example of a personal narrative called My New Scooter. Remember, you can find a link to the story in the video description if you want to print out your own or just reference it on your device. And if you can't access the one in the description, you can find the story on Moodle as well. Are y'all ready? Let's read.
My New Scooter. Have you ever worked really hard to get something, but were only able to enjoy it for a short time? I worked hours upon hours doing all kinds of small jobs for the neighbors on my street. They would pay me for raking their yards, pulling weeds, even picking up dog waste. I finally saved up enough money to get my very own scooter. The day I got my scooter, I rode it until my legs felt wobbly. I was tired, but not enough to quit riding completely. I carefully laid my shiny new scooter down on the driveway outside my garage and hurried inside to get a drink. I finished off 2 glasses of water and couldn't wait to get back out to my new toy. As I walked outside the door, I heard it. It sounded like 20 soda cans being crushed at the same time. My eyes immediately looked toward the driveway and I locked eyes with my dad, who was backing out in his truck. My dad's face looked shocked and worried all at the same time. My eyes gazed over and down behind the truck to see what made all the racket. It was my worst nightmare come true. My scooter was crumpled under the truck tire like an accordion. My heart sank and everything became blurry behind the pool of tears that filled my eyes. My hands lifted to my cheeks to cover my face. I couldn't believe that my brand new, super fast, shiny scooter was demolished. So many thoughts flooded my mind. I didn't even get to ride it very long. I just barely bought it and now I'll never get to ride it again. All of the money I worked so hard to earn was wasted in a matter of seconds. It wasn't fair. It just wasn't fair. Then the tears began rolling down my face and I began sobbing. I was crying so hard I couldn't catch my breath. I could feel my shoulders bobbing up and down with each blubber I let out. Next, Dad put his arms around me and held me tight. Hey there, it's okay. We'll work this out. He tried to calm me down while rubbing my back. But Dad, I hardly got to ride it. All my money is gone. I don't have a scooter anymore, I cried, trying to catch my breath still. Why don't we go inside and sit down for a second to calm down? That'll be good for both of us. I got a little shaken up myself. Then we can talk with Mom and see about a solution to this problem we have here, he explained. Okay, I responded, heartbroken and disappointed. Although it was one of the worst days I can remember, I sure am glad Dad was there to calm me down.
So in the story we just read, My New Scooter, the author wrote about a time that they felt a really strong emotion, and they shared about a time when they were very sad. Writing about a strong emotion is another way that authors can generate story ideas. Sometimes you might write about when you're really happy, other times you might write about a time you were sad or scared or nervous. If you printed out the anchor chart yesterday, you want to grab that now. If not, that's okay. You can write it on a piece of paper. We're going to work on filling in the other side of the chart with some examples that we can use to help us in our own writing.
So we just finished reading the story My New Scooter. And in that story, the author wrote about a time that they felt really sad. So one thing that we can use to help us get ideas for personal narratives is writing about a time that we felt a strong emotion. And remember, if you don't have the anchor chart printed, you can write this down on a piece of paper and hold on to it to reference as we start to come up with our own ideas for stories. So here are some different strong emotions that you might feel. Nervous, sad, angry, scared, happy. And what we're gonna do right now is just brainstorm a time that you felt these emotions. And it might take a while. It can be hard to remember when we felt a certain way. So take your time. If you need to pause the video and come back to it, that's fine. I'm going to give some examples about times in my life that I have felt these emotions. So for nervous, one of the times when I was nervous is when I had to go to a new school. And this isn't just when I was a kid having to go to a new school, but this has been as an adult. And like when I moved to Louisiana and started at a new school, I was nervous to start at Riverside. You may have started at a new school also and felt nervous, or you may have had a different emotion when you started at a new school. Maybe that made you really happy or you were excited. So you might have the same idea, but it might fit with a different emotion, or you might have the same idea to go with nervous. Then I'm going to think about a time that I was sad. One of the times I was really sad is when my best friend moved to Colorado. We went to college together in Louisiana, and then we both moved to Texas, so we had lived next to each other for years. And then she moved to Colorado, and I missed her a lot because Colorado is pretty far away. So that's definitely a time that I felt sad. When's a time that you felt sad? Write it down next to the word sad on your paper. My next strong emotion is angry. So take some time and think about a time when you were angry. One thing that made me really angry is when Scout was a puppy. I came home and she had chewed up a pair of my shoes. So I'm gonna put that down. What's something that made you angry? Have you ever had a dog chew up something that you liked? Or maybe you had a sibling who took something that was yours and broke it? Our next strong emotion is scared. So let me try to think of a time that I felt scared. You might be feeling scared now that we're out of school and everything's kind of up in the air. Maybe you felt scared because of a noise that you've heard at night. When I was growing up, we always went camping, and sometimes you would hear sounds outside of the tent, and because you couldn't see what they were, it was pretty scary. So I'm gonna put that. So hearing a sound in the middle of the night while camping. And our last strong emotion is happy. So think about a time that you felt really happy. One of the happiest times for me is when I got married, so I'm gonna put that. For you, it might be when a sibling was born, maybe you got a new pet or had something exciting happen that made you really happy. And remember, all of your ideas that you're brainstorming should be things that actually happen to you. Because remember, a personal narrative is a true story about something that happened in your life. So you might have some of these that are the same as mine because maybe you were also nervous going to a new school or you had a friend that moved away. But yours shouldn't be exactly the same as mine because these are things that happened in my life and these things might not have happened in your life. And then once I've brainstormed, if I'm ready to start writing, I can pick one of these things to write about, and just like the author walked us through all the emotions they felt getting that scooter and then having their dad run the scooter over and break it, I can think about all the emotions involved in that event and write that down for my reader.
So now that I have my anchor chart filled out, I'm going to hold on to it so I have it to reference over the next couple weeks as I work on writing my own personal narrative. If it was really easy for you to come up with those, then you might try looking at some other emotions like anxious, frustrated, ignored, and see if you can come up with a time that you felt one of those emotions or another big emotion that you felt. Find someone in your family that you can share your chart with, and if you're in my class, you can upload it on Moodle under the Assignments tab with your brainstorming chart. Now we know 2 ways that authors can come up with ideas for personal narratives. Remember, they can reminisce on memories they share with someone special, or they can think about strong emotions and a time when they felt that emotion. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about how we can take an idea and narrow it down to a smaller seed. So I'll see y'all then.